And hello everybody, welcome back to another Teardown, and for you today I got CSGO weapons. Now what is the best CSGO weapon? Which one sucked the most? After this episode, we will probably linger off CSGO and go into a different game, so make sure you drop in the comments which game you want me to go through. It could be a game based off guns, it could be like, I don't know, Minecraft, my favorite block, it could be, I don't know, Valorant, my favorite character, it could be League of Legends, which one I think looks the coolest, it could be literally anything. Just tell me in the comments and I'll be sure to make a video on it. Now, without further ado, let me introduce the categories we have. So at the bottom we have Valorant worthy. Now, this is a joke, it's a dig at Valorant, saying like, you know, CSGO's better. Secondly, we got Bot Marvin. Now, what Bot Marvin would buy. Third category, so like middle of the road, it's might hit something. So you spray the whole mag, you might hit something. Totally not player based and only the weapon's fault, because, you know, I'm obviously amazing at the game. Second is clutchable, as in if I have this weapon in my hands, the clutch is doable. And finally, it's drop me please, you know, drop me that gun instantly and I'll be so happy. Alright, without further ado, let's go with, should we go in order? Let's go in order that's presented. Alright, this is alphabetical order, I believe. Yes, alright, AK-47. Now, straight up, in my opinion, second best weapon in the game. This has to be a drop me please. The one tap capabilities, the 30 bullets, it's just so reliable. Most of the time you'll kill with 4 if you know how to aim and you don't aim at the toes with 4 bullets. Otherwise occasionally 5, but armor penetration is great also. Wallbang, super genuinely good. Now next up we got the AUG. There was a phase where the AUG was absolutely cracked. I think it's still cracked now. Obviously, I'm taking into account the price range and everything, and I guess how often you would buy it, and if personally I would buy it. Now, the AUG for me is an okay weapon. It's one of these two. I think it's definitely clutchable because it's a rifle, but then again, I don't necessarily like it that much. But I think we can readjust, so I'll put it in clutchable for now. With an AUG, I feel I'd be confident, you know, I'd be able to hit something. Now, the big boomstick, notoriously made famous by players like Kenny S, Guardian. And it's just one tap capability, literally one tap to the body. It's just amazing. You know, everybody wants to be the dream opper of the team. So usually once everybody saves enough money, you have at least 4 ops on the teams because that's what matchmaking is. Now next, CZ. Now this is going to be very controversial. I personally really like it. The CZ is what I use instead of the Tech 9 and the 5.7. Now here's my justification, right? If you buy a pistol, the only time you ever should buy a pistol is on a, I guess, somewhat eco round. Or if you're sniping, right? Let's say you're getting rushed, you want to have a decent secondary instead of a Glock and USB. That's completely fine. If you have a rifle or anything, you don't really need a pistol. This is my argument. If you want a gun that's decent damage and all that, you've got the P250. For me, the 5.7 P250, there's not that much variation in the way both weapons play out. The Tech 9 has, I guess, a run and gun ability. But for me, I like close quarter opping or even medium range opping. And if the only time I would ever pull out a pistol is if I'm literally getting rushed by more than one person, I'm pulling out the CZ. That's got insane fire rate. I think that's more viable in my playstyle. So for me, I'm putting this in clutchable above the AUG. I genuinely super enjoy the CZ, and I use it so often, especially when I'm either scouting or opping. That's just my argument. Do let me know if you're more of a CZ, Tech 9, or 5.7 type of person. Honestly, no hate. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, even though some of them might be wrong. Now, Deagle, drop me please. It's literally notorious for the clips on YouTube. You know, happy with the one Deagle and another one. Everybody knows that clip. The Deagle is just so crisp. If you one tap somebody with it, it's just so satisfying. And it's got decent wallbang potential. Honestly, if you take close quarter fighting, let's say nuke a site around the silo, AK versus Deagle, the Deagle honestly could stand a chance at close range. 2 bullets, dead. Next up, dualies. I personally do not enjoy the dualies at all. My finger game's too weak. I can't click fast enough. And yeah, you could get a macro and all that, but that's not authentic CS. For me, I'm going to put it into Valorant worthy. Does Valorant have a dual pistol thing? No. Yeah, there you go. Valorant, there's an idea for you. Riot Games, take it. Next up, FAMAS. This is, I know, once again, like the FAMAS and Galil, most people are going to side with the Galil, but I practically never buy the Galil. And I actually feel quite confident with the FAMAS. I play it you know, with it a lot. It's not because I'm French, I promise you, but I actually genuinely enjoy the FAMAS. as a weapon. Not on burst fire. Don't even bother. I don't know why there's a burst fire setting. It's absolute trash on burst fire. But I think it can hold its ground. Because usually, like, let's say, when would you buy a FAMAS? On a forced round that you need to essentially try to win, or you drop the teammate and you gave them an M4 and you get a FAMAS, right? You're going to play close quarter fighting on site or something. You're not going to peek like down banana with a FAMAS. I've done it before. Don't recommend it. You're not going to fight A-long or stuff like that. You're not going to win first, right? On Dust, for example. You're going to play close quarter on site. Notoriously good on Infernal Pit. I love the FAMAS on Infernal Pit. 25 bullets, it's but it does the job. Trust me. You can get at least 2, then you pick up their guns, right? For me, FAMAS, definitely clutchable, and I personally prefer it more than the AUG. And the CZ. In terms of clutchability. I probably would put this here. I just dislike this COD gun, so I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Now, the 5.7, I think the 5.7 is a good gun. But for me, like I said before, the only reason why I don't have it equipped is because if I could equip it instead of the dualies, trust me, I 100% would. I think the P250 does enough of a decent job that I don't need the 5.7, and I'd rather have a very completely different versatile gun. The CZ is completely different from the way these two single fire guns play, right? So for me, I'm gonna put it as might hit something. I think it's definitely a strong weapon, close range, super deadly with the one tap, but I don't know. Because I put the CZ here, I'm going to naturally put the 5.7 over here. Now, the auto, I believe this is the T side auto, the G, whatever. I don't even know the name of this one. The G36, yeah, the auto, basically. Bon Marvin would buy it. It's a good gun, don't get me wrong. On T side, it's okay. I just don't think it's that viable on T side. I prefer, if I was to buy the auto, I'd buy it on CT, I think. Undoubtedly just leave it on one of the sides with generally just one entrance. I'm thinking instantly B side Infernal, watch Banana, B side Dust 2, watch Lower Tunnels. Both very viable. If you get rushed from window, then you blame your mid player and your other B anchor. But other than that, I don't see where on T side you would bring this in, unless let's say you're up 8-9 rounds. Fair enough, throw it in, just be a little toxic. But other than that, I think Bot Marvin level is fair for this auto on T side. Next, the Galil. Galil, very good gun. I think it's very viable. 35 bullets. Sometimes I drop my teammates AKs and I take a Galil without a problem. I prefer they use an AK and I use a Galil. I think I would trust myself with a Galil. Now I'm definitely gonna put it in clutchable and I'm gonna put it above the CZ and the AUG. I personally prefer the FAMAS. I know most people are gonna prefer the Galil, but I just buy the FAMAS so much more in a situation like I said before. If I'm on T side and we need to force, I don't usually find myself using a Galil. I'd rather, if I'm forcing, you want speed, you want pace, I'd go either send in 2 SMGs and maybe 3 Galils at the back or something like that, or even have a scout player. I usually would go scout or SMG as an entry frag. It depends on what I would do. It depends on what the team buys, but I rarely find myself ever buying a Galil. Unless we have the typical drop me an op and I'll drop you a gun, and then they don't buy you an AK, they give you a Galil. It's because they bought a Deagle or utility. Anyways, that's where I'm gonna put Galil. I'm gonna put it below FAMAS. I know it's not the most popular of opinions, but my tier list, so yep, be mad haters, I don't care. Next, Glock. I personally, apart from pistol round, why would you ever have this gun? May as well just buy a Zeus if you're ecoing, honestly. So many times where you go 89 in 7, it's a water gun. Water elemental is the best skin for Glock because it's literally a water gun. We're gonna quickly move on. I think it's Valorant worthy. Even the classic on Valorant is better, so it's almost below. And there's a burst fire option, which is actually not too bad if you're getting rushed. But anyways, I'm gonna put the Glock there. I just don't think it's that great. Now, M249. I personally think Negev is better. I think if you're ever gonna buy a gun with this much amount of ammo, you're either holding an off angle and expecting a rush, you're either getting behind the line like my pit play that I like to do, and M249 the recoil is too hard, or it's decent first bullet accuracy, but I just don't think it's almost 3 times more expensive than the Negev. I think it's 5.2. No, the Negev's 1.7, 3.4. Yeah, almost. It's a little bit more actually, but I just don't think it's any good. I can't justify buying an M249, right? Unless you're winning and you're trolling it. Apart from that, you're never gonna buy it. It's more expensive than an AWP. Is it Valorant worthy though? Yeah, I'm putting it Valorant worthy. I think I'd rather buy the auto than this. M4A1S silencer. Now here's gonna be the big debate in the comments. I want you to literally comment if you're an M4A4 person or M4A1S, and if there's, let's say, we just need 2 comments, just like the one you want, whichever one you want to use, and we'll just see what my, I guess, viewers think and which side you guys are on, which side of the debate you guys fall on. God, I can't English, apologies. For me, it's a drop, please, but it's not God tier. I don't think it's God tier. I'm putting it top of clutchable. When I say drop, please, obviously I would love a drop on CT side if it's a rifle, but drop, please, is essentially God tier in this situation, and for me, it's not God tier. M4A4, the AK is just way better in my opinion. It's hard to say, like, there should be one in between. I might have to move, I might have to move stuff down. I might have to move this down. But it is clutchable. Okay, clutchable, look. We're just categorizing them into preference levels, really. Anyways, I'm gonna move on. M4A1S, I'm gonna put it right over here, I think, right behind the M4A4. Both of them really similar, but I think I prefer the 30 bullet mag than the 25 with a silencer. Or is it 20 now? Pretty sure it's 25. It is much cheaper though, so I understand why people enjoy it quite a bit more. But my style is quite aggressive as a player, so I see myself usually doing a lot more retakes, and there's no real point of having a silenced weapon if you're retaking, because once you get one, they're gonna know where you are. Is my justification. And if my site's getting rushed, I'd rather have 30 bullets than 25. Depends if you're one of the lurking type of players, could be a viable option. If you like playing more secret based like CS, or like secretive, like mysterious type of player, like lurking behind enemy lines, which is actually my style, but I don't know, I side with the M44. Now Mac 10 I think is might hit something. It's a very strong SMG, probably the second strongest SMG in my opinion. I love the versatility you can have when you need a change of pace. Definitely, let's say, even if you're on a full buy round, buy 4 AKs and then have a Mac 10 entry frag, jump around a little bit, get that second guy to trade you if you have to, or even swing after you. It brings a lot of versatility to a push, which I really enjoy. Mac 7 or Swag 7, same thing. You might hit something if you're close up, but if you're long, forget it. You may as well almost hit like the side of a barn. You probably might not even hit that. It's very situational. I want straight off the bat, I'm thinking Mirage B site, jump peeking that, or even close of any entrance would be the only way you would play this gun. So very situational. If you need to change things up, and let's say you're getting out rifled and all that, fair enough, change it up, use a decent weapon. No, put that there. I still think that's better. I don't know. MP5. All right, so this is the silenced SMG. I don't think it's very good. I think the MP7 is better anyways. I don't see many people use it. For me, it's Valorant worthy. I like the idea of bringing a new gun into the game. It changes it up. Fair enough. If you want to be a little more silenced, you get an SMG version. But I don't think it's that good. I think MP7 is better than the MP5. I have the MP7 equipped. I think it's higher fire rate and does maybe more damage. I don't know. It just feels like it does more damage. And yeah, this is very similar to a Mac 10, but I feel like this has less spread, but it's less like, I don't know, I would always buy a Mac 10 more. Literally this gun and this gun, I'd practically never use them. The only SMGs I would ever use would be Mac 10 and MP9 and the UMP. Bison if I'm trolling, or P90 if I want to be toxic to one of my teammates. So yeah, MP9 for me, it's the best SMG. I'm gonna put it up here. I think it's better than the CZ for sure. Yeah, honestly, you literally get a MP9 on CT side, have him hold like close angles, off angles, you get that one frag, easy switch out to the next weapon from the opponent, and you're good. It's pretty broken. I think they should nerf it a little bit. Negev, I'm gonna put it as might hit something, and I'll put it like here. Super fun. It's sort of like the thing where I like to pull maybe twice per game. I would like find a way to sneak or let like multiple players pass, and then you just mow them all down. I've done a couple of these clips, so if you want to check them out, make sure you check out TikTok or even my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure you'll find some. But yeah, it's a fun gun. It's one of those like you're like in your face type of play, and it tilts people, so that's why I really enjoy it. Nova. I think the Nova is also gonna be a bot Marvin. I think it's better than the MP7. It's decent. Like, you can move quite well with it, and yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily buy it that often, but I think when you buy it, it does the job. Like, it will do the job. It'll get you like one frag at most, and it's a good money making machine. Other than that, like, if you can, I would buy the Swag 7, but if you're on T side, I would buy the XM or the Nova. I don't like the sawed-off. For me, you know, actually what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the sawed-off right here, I think. Okay, let me order these. M249 is not worth it. I think the Glock's better than 249. No. In terms of like value from everything. Yeah, for me, sawed-off is the worst shotgun in the game. It's just so not like viable. I don't like it for some reason. I prefer the Swag 7 much more, or I'd rather have the Nova over a sawed-off. That's just my opinion though. P2000, here's another debate. Are you more of a P2000 player or USPS type of person? I know this one is probably more heavily sided on the USPS. I personally use the USPS. I've had probably a 2-week phase where I switched to the P2000, but I don't know. I think on the first pistol round, just the USPS one taps are so satisfying. It's so like crisp. Tuk, tuk, tuk. Yeah. Bot Marvins usually run P2000, right? Yeah, we'll put P2000 there. I think that's fair. All right, P250. I think very good weapon. Is it better than 5.7? No, for sure. But it is rather cheap, and I do run it, so I might put it here. I run it, so I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put the P250 there. Obviously, you don't have a choice; you have to run it. But I don't run the 5.7, so that's gonna be lowered down. Same argument. I think it's quite similar to a 5.7, as in there's not that much of discrepancy between the weapons, and that's why the CZ for me is a more viable loadout. P90, definitely Bot Marvin. The type of thing where like you're literally playing a game. Let's say you got a guy that really wants to op on your team. Let's say a rando that really wants to op, right? He's not hitting anything. He's not calling anything. He's just taking up space and not even watching anything. You get him off the op. He tries rifling a little bit. He whiffs everything. Not even good for one. Give him P90. Give him a P90. Make him be the distraction. That's literally the only reason I'd ever buy a P90. Or unless you do the typical P90 rush B, just because you're like up by 10 rounds. Bison, same argument. I think it's now a lot of people hate on the Bison. I can see why. A lot of the SMGs are much better, but with 64 bullets, there's some situations where you're running behind, you get in behind the team, and I would rather have a Bison than like MP7. I think the Bison's better. 64 bullets is I think underrated, honestly. Like, you gotta play it very differently. Of course, each weapon you gotta play them differently to maximize their potential, but I think what is this called? The Bison's potential is higher than the MP7's, in my opinion. So that's why I'm putting there. Revolver can just get the hell out of the game. It's fancy if you want to hit a couple like shots and why not troll a couple games, fair enough. But other than that, nobody will ever buy it or have it equipped. Just send it to Valorant, honestly. The auto, I think this one is actually quite strong as a weapon on CT side. So I'm going to definitely put on CT side. Would you ever be in a clutch situation? Not really. So I'm going to definitely put it probably like here. Is it better than the AUG? I think it's better than the AUG. It's not as good as... Is it better than Mac 10? I think Mac 10... The way the Mac 10 plays those is good. I'll put it here. I think that's what I'll do. I think it's a good weapon. I know it's cringe and all that, but it's a good weapon. SG, definitely clutchable weapon. It's good. I'm gonna put it as on top of these guys. I'm putting it right there. I think without a scope, very viable. With a scope for long range, very viable. It's out of the AUG and SG. I think the SG is levels above the AUG, and it's cheaper too, if I'm not mistaken. And there was that one period where everybody would just use the SG and drag down left to bottom diagonally. That's literally the only weapon everybody would use. A weapon I would use if, let's say, nothing's going right. Can't hit the AK, can't hit the AWP, can't hit the Galil, can't hit the FAMAS, can't hit the M4. Bring out the SG, use the scope. Straight back to like Call of Duty days. And honestly, it's gotten me a couple clips before, so it's not bad. Scout. Scout is iconic when you get a kill. It's a good weapon. But I'm going to put it in clutchable. Right there. I think it's clutchable. It's a good weapon. Super viable. It's even like on a normal Byron, if you want to soften up for your like SMGs. You're forcing, soften the cross up for the SMGs on Dust 2, or even like if you're peeking literally any map, really, Mirage mid. There's just so many ways you can make the Scout super useful. Just don't entry frag with it. Unless you're cracked and you're gonna get the headshot. It just does. I've seen so many people entry frag with the Scout. It's like you can entry peek, but then back off and let your rifles or SMG finish them off. Like you gotta play so supportive with the Scout. And then once the clutch comes, then you just go all out baller style. Like, you know, you go crazy. Now next, Tech 9 is definitely... Ooh, is it clutchable though? I just love old Tech 9 compared to new Tech 9. So for me, I'm going to move it down probably to like here. I would be fine using it if I picked it up. I would happily pick it up over most weapons. Even in some situations, I'd pick it up over the CZ if I'm, let's say, about to drop the op to somebody else. But like I said, I don't run it. I run the CZ over the Tech 9 in my opinion. It's just more useful in situations, especially if I'm opping. So that's my reasoning for picking the CZ over the Tech 9. Next, UMP. UMP, third best SMG in my opinion after the MP9 and Mac 10. I'm going to put it as right over here. It's probably weaker than the Negev. Yeah, I probably wouldn't buy... I'd buy Negev over UMP just because of... Why not? Fuck it. USPS. Now, USPS is definitely a bot Marvin level because it's maybe it's actually bottom of mid might hit something. I think these are just such a pain to use. That USPS is just so crisp sometimes. It's so satisfying one-tapping somebody with a silencer. And yeah, that's why I'm going to put it there. Now, XM, the final weapon we have here today. XM for me is going to sit right in the might hit something as well. I'm going to put it above the Negev. Super fun weapon to use if you want a shotgun murderer, literally run around. And yeah, that's my tier list. Do let me know if you think I've gotten something very, very wrong. I'm sure there's going to be big debates with the CZ, Tech 9, M4s, or even the Galils and FAMAS. But, you know, if there's something out there like, oh, actually the MP7 is super underrated, do let me know what your favorite weapon is. And maybe, like, what your favorite way to play that weapon as well. I think that's really interesting to see how people play their weapons differently. And you always learn from different play styles and different weapons. So, like, you need to broaden up your game because you're never going to get the luxury of picking up what's being dropped on the floor if you kill somebody. So, it's good, in my opinion, to learn everything. There's no outrageously bad weapons. The only really bad one, in my opinion, is the Revolver. The rest is usable. Even the Revolver is usable, technically. But maybe the Dualies and the Revolver. I think the rest is okay. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Do let me know, once again, in the comment what you guys want to see next. Different game. What type of concept you guys want to see. Hope you guys have an amazing day. And thank you, like always, for your amazing support. Peace out.